Hello, Haunted Family, and Merry Christmas. Christmas is a time for gathering and for family, and sometimes our family members who have crossed over, they want to come back. They want to spend, one more joyous evening around the tree with us. Or, for some, they use a special Christmas gift as a way to hang on and communicate. At least that's what the people from the following stories believe. So sit back, enjoy the show, and if you like what you hear, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Story 1, Christmas Eve. My roommate and I were best friends. We lived in Columbus, Ohio, but my roommate grew up in Battle Creek, Michigan, and we used to go up there to visit her dad and stepmom over the Christmas holidays every year. We stayed in the house that she grew up in. My roommate, her younger brother Todd, Jen, one of her stepsisters, and I had been wrapping presents in Jen's room. A quick word about the layout of the house. There's Jen's room, Shanna's room. Shanna is her older stepsister. There's a guest room, and then there's a bathroom, all opening out onto a small landing. The doors to the rooms surround the landing, almost like the arms of an asterisk, rather than being across from one another in a traditional four-square type pattern. I don't know why, but I always found this layout somewhat unnerving. It almost felt wrong. But I really didn't think much of it. Also, in years past, Shanna's room had been my roommate's room when my roommate was growing up. So we finished wrapping presents and walked out of Jen's room. First my roommate, then Jen, then Todd, and then me, in the back. We turn out the light in Jen's room as we leave. The light in the hallway was still on. The door to Shanna's room was open, and the lights were out. But, as I passed the door to Shanna's room, I thought I saw someone standing there out of the corner of my eye. It appeared to be a woman of medium height, with dark-colored hair, turned up and away from her face. Kind of in a Gibson girl sort of fashion. She was wearing a pale gown, and seemed to be standing with her head down, as if she was looking at something on the floor, several feet away from her. Her hands were clasped in front of her. This was all very quick, and when I turned my head to look directly at her, there was nothing. I felt a little edgy, but figured it was because it was almost Christmas Eve, and the air was full of anticipation that you feel on Christmas Eve. The next day, we went to my roommate's aunt's house and uncle's house for Christmas. There was lots of happy small children, lots of gifts were exchanged, there was good food, and someone played the guitar for us. Just a good family Christmas. Midway through the proceedings, I went to ask Uncle Norm if I could use the phone to call my mom and Dad, who at the time were living in Washington State, to wish them a Merry Christmas. Uncle Norm said that I was welcome to use the phone in the basement, so that I'd have some privacy for my phone call. The first thing Dad said to me when I called him was, "Your Aunt Bernice died last night." Aunt Bernice was my mother's sister. I didn't know her very well. Mom's family lived in New York, and since we had lost touch over the years, we didn't really know her. I only recall meeting Aunt Bernice once, when I was maybe 11 years old. I was quite freaked out by this news, and had to go wander around in the woods near Uncle Norm's house for a few hours to calm down and clear my head. I can't say for sure that Aunt Bernice was the person I saw in Shanna's room that night. Maybe it was. Maybe she came to say goodbye. I don't know. I felt nothing violent or malicious from that spirit. She was just there, and then she wasn't. I know nothing about the history of the house that I saw her in either. But for now, I'm just going to assume that it was Aunt Bernice saying goodbye. Story 2. Just a touch haunted. It started after my grandmother passed away. Things started to go missing, and then reappear in other places. For instance, my grandmother had this old red spoon rest that my mom had gotten her. She had it on this table, and the next day it disappeared, and we looked all over for it. We found it in my mom's handbag, zipped up in my mom's handbag. I invited my psychic friend over to the house, and she told me that there were 2 ghosts in my house, 2 little boys named Christopher and Michael. They were aged 11 and 9. You can see them if you stand at the bottom of the stairs, with the lights off. They will appear at the top of the stairs. They look like blobs of white light. Once I was going up the stairs with the lights off, and I'd actually forgotten that they like to stay at the top of the stairs in the unused room. And in the dark hallway, one of them popped out of the wall at me. I ran down the stairs. At Christmas time, Christmas presents will disappear without a trace, never to be found again. There's just one Santa statue that my mother has, and the ghosts in the house really like to turn it around for some reason. Mom will straighten it back out and turn it the way she wants it, and the next morning, poop, it's facing the wall again. We've searched the whole house, the attic, everywhere for the Christmas presents that go missing, and we still haven't found any of them. This has went on for several years in a row. They're not bad ghosts, just mischievous. One Christmas Eve, I was the only one awake in the house, and I was downstairs, straightening presents up under the tree, when I decided to use the bathroom. Suddenly, I heard my name being called. Sharon. I slammed the bathroom door so quick, but really, like that was going to stop the ghost from coming in the door on me. Like I said, they're not bad ghosts. They're just mischievous. We would really like to find our missing presents, though. Story 3. A Red Christmas. When my mother was about 19 years old, her mother passed away after suffering a terrible asthma attack in their living room. This happened the week after Christmas. Usually, right around Christmas time, I get a very strange feeling in my living room, usually at night. We have a rocking chair there, and a few years ago, right around Christmas time, I was having a sleepover with an old friend. She woke up in the middle of the night to go to the washroom. We were downstairs in the rec room. She went upstairs, and as she was walking through the kitchen and into the living room, she saw the rocking chair rocking back and forth violently. She decided that she didn't need to use the bathroom anymore, ran back downstairs to the rec room as fast as she could. The next morning, she told me what happened. A few days later, I was sitting downstairs, watching television. The chair I was sitting in was close to the TV, and in my basement at the time, we had these bead-like curtains hanging down from the sitting area that blocked off the storage freezer area from the rest of the basement. On the other side of the basement, we have hunting trophy deer heads that my dad refuses to take down. And my mom always puts the wrapping stuff on the other side, on the far right side of the room. That night, I was watching TV. I was home alone, and suddenly, something hit the bead curtain. When I looked to see what it was a red Christmas bow, the type you stick on top of gifts. It was weird because this was nowhere near the Christmas wrapping stuff. It literally had to fly across the room to hit the beads. And we had no Christmas wrapping stuff actually out at the time. I was so scared. But I know I really shouldn't be, because it had to be my grandmother's spirit, and she was a very nice woman, even though I never knew her. Story 4. Grandma's Music Boxes. I've always considered myself a little psychic, but this, by far, is one of the most memorable things to happen to me. When I was about 14, my grandmother lost her 7-year battle with cancer. I was with her those final moments, and the loss hit me especially hard. I was her first granddaughter, and we had a very special bond. She always told me ghost stories and talked about the afterlife. After her death, I wondered if I'd hear from her after she had crossed over. Nearly 2 years after her death, this incident occurred. I was sleeping in bed when I woke suddenly at 3 a.m. As I came to my senses, I realized that I heard music coming from the spare bedroom across the hall, which I can see from my bed. I lay there and listened for a while, and finally I decided to sit up. As soon as I was upright, the music stopped. I don't mean the music winded down to stop. I mean it was a full force stop. Then I realized that it was the music box my grandmother had given me the Christmas before she died. That Christmas, she had gave several family members music boxes. I was still a little spooked by the incident when I woke up the next morning, but there was more to come. As I sat in my room, blow-drying my hair, I was looking in my mirror when the door to my room swung open quickly. I immediately ran to the doorway to see if my mom or dad had done it, but they were both downstairs. A few weeks later, I was speaking with my aunt and she told me about something that had happened to her very recently. Apparently, one day, my aunt walked into her home, and the music box that Grandma had gave her that Christmas was playing on its own, just as my music box had done. Just as my aunt reached out to touch the music box, the music stopped. I guess my grandmother is using the music boxes as a way of communicating with us, telling us that she's there for us and that she loves us. I just wish that she had visited me during the day instead of the middle of the night.